Hey guys, this is Cape Fear Customs. I'm Matt.
And I'm Alan.
And we are home of Line-X of Wilmington, doing all things automotive customization. Check us out on our website, capefearcustoms.com, or on our social media accounts at Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Thanks for checking in and subscribe to our channels.
Hey guys, welcome back to Cape Fear Customs. I'm Alan, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about what you need to be thinking about when you go to get involved in the off-road community. So most folks want to know, where should I start with my build? The answer is pretty simple, but it leads to a couple of other questions. So what we really need to assess is, what are we going to be using the vehicle for? That's going to lead to what size tires we're going to run, because that's going to be your first purchase. So with any tire purchase you're going to make, you're going to decide on size, and that's going to dovetail into whether or not you're going to need a lift or that kind of thing. We definitely recommend a good set of tires so you have plenty of traction when you're out on the trail. But the next thing you're going to also want to think about is if you're going to need a lift kit, and what accessories are going to need to go along with that. In addition to tires, there's another place you need to spend some time thinking about, and that's going to be on your recovery options, and that's going to be winches, straps, things like that that can help you get out of tight spots. And we have all types of options for you here at Cape Fear Customs for you to take care of those needs. So to get a little bit more in depth with you on some of the options you're going to have with these items, I've got my brother here, Matt, who's going to tell you a lot more about the different ways you can go to get your vehicle ready for the trails.
Alright guys, so as Alan elaborated a little bit on earlier, the first place we always want to start with is a good set of tires. Now this set right here is a set of Pro Comp Extreme MT2s. As you can tell, this is a little bit more aggressive style tire, so it's got a little bit more larger void to it. That's going to cause you a little bit more road noise on the road. Some people that doesn't bother them, some people they really don't like that, especially on a daily driver. So one of the important things to try and figure out is whether you want an all-terrain or a mud terrain. So this tire does have a little bit larger void to it. Again, that's going to be a little bit more noisy, whereas an all-terrain is going to have a tighter void and it's going to be better on the road, but you're going to lose a little bit more traction off-road. It's all kind of a trade-off. Now, what you've seen a lot in the industry is there's brands that are creating a hybrid tire where it's not necessarily a mud terrain, it's not necessarily an all-terrain. A good example of that is the Nitto Ridge Grappler. That's probably our #1 selling tire here at the store. It is a great tire. Customers typically get about 40 to 60,000 miles out of them. And a sister brand to Nitto is Toyo. Both of them make fantastic tires. They've been in the industry for a long time. Another one that we see a lot of customers coming in looking for is the BF Goodrich KO2s or the KM3s. The KO2 being their all-terrain style tire and the KM3 being their mud terrain style tire.
Alright guys, earlier we touched on tire size and how that affects you in planning for your build. One of the things that you want to determine is how you're going to use the vehicle. Do you see yourself going to the mountains and four-wheeling and doing the hard trails? Or do you see yourself just going to the beach and setting up an awning and enjoying the beach? Or are you just looking to put a little bit larger size tire underneath the Jeep? Most people are just looking for that beefy look, and there's no problem with that. You can absolutely just swap out the tires on your vehicle to a little bit more aggressive. It's going to add some more beef to it. However, there is a large portion of the population that wants to lift their vehicle and put on a little bit larger size tire. In this customer's instance, he's used a 3.5 Rubicon Express suspension paired with Fox 2.0 shocks. Now, he sees himself going and using this Jeep and aggressively four-wheeling it. Not everybody's like that. If you just want to do a simple lift, we offer the AEV 2-inch spacer system. AEV is one of our more popular brands. They primarily started in the Jeep market, but have since moved on into the Ram and the Chevy Colorado market. So they have a wide range of offerings. Another brand that we use a lot of is ReadyLift. ReadyLift has a great plug-and-play kit with high-quality, well-made parts that normally show up with the right parts in the box. So we use them a lot as it's a quality brand. I would tell you to check them out if you're looking for a lift for your Ford, Chevy, or Ram.
Alright guys, one of the things that my brother mentioned earlier is the importance of having the proper recovery gear. In my opinion, it's one of the most underrated places to spend money, because chances are if you do go out and recreate with your vehicle, at some point in time you will get stuck. And having the proper recovery gear can save you both time and money. Now, in front of me, I've laid out some of the most basic recovery gear that you can get. Starting on the right, we have a tree saver. Out here on the East Coast, we have a lot of trees, so whenever we go out four-wheeling, if we were to get stuck, we have somewhere to anchor that winch to. Now, the problem is that you can't take a winch rope and wrap it around the tree and clamp it to itself. That's very bad. It will hurt the rope, and it could really reduce the chances of you getting pulled out. So using something like a tree saver not only saves the tree from that rough pull, but it also allows you a spot to wrap around the tree and clip something like a D-ring to it. Now, you see these on a lot of different vehicles' bumpers. These are great for recovery extraction and general moving stuff around. Now, in the industry, in the last couple of years, we've seen a big movement over into soft shackles. Whereas you can get a set of 2 of these shackles for about $22. These soft shackles run typically between $40 and $50. However, they are stronger than the standard shackle, and they are also a little bit easier to use. So they're much more mobile, much more able to be used, essentially. Over here we have a kinetic recovery rope. Now, a lot of people think that a rope is a rope, and in certain instances that is kind of the truth, but in the off-road industry we have a lot of these kinetic style ropes. So what that's going to do is if you were attached to a vehicle and that front vehicle pulls forward, that rope is actually going to stretch to a certain extent like a rubber band, causing more pulling force to pull the vehicle out. So the investment into a rope, very similar to Bubba Rope's Renegade, typically runs about 150 bucks, but it's going to last you for years to come. Another big piece is if you don't have a synthetic winch on the front of your Jeep, having a steel cable can be really troublesome when handling it. So I always recommend having a good pair of gloves inside the Jeep so that you don't get any barbs in your hands, and it makes it easier to use. Over here I have a Speedy Seal kit, and what this is going to do is if I was to get a nail or a rock or something inside my tire and it's not a large enough hole, I can actually plug it with this kit. Over here on the right we have a snatch block, and what that does is it's basically a glorified pulley that you would use off of a tree or a land anchor, and what that's going to do is actually double the amount of pulling capacity. Now, rule of thumb on winches is you want at least twice the weight of the vehicle. Now, if this Jeep right here, he's looking to purchase a winch, this Jeep roughly weighs about 4,000, maybe 5,000 pounds when properly equipped with all of its gear. So he's going to want about an 8 or a 9,000 pound winch in order to pull them out. But the minute that he grabs one of these shackles and he runs the line through the pulley and then back to the Jeep, he has then doubled the amount of pulling capacity that that winch is going to use.
Alright guys, earlier we talked a little bit about winches, selecting the right one for your vehicle, and how you're going to use it. Now behind me is a couple different winches that we offer here at our store. This is the Smittybilt Gen 3, this is the Warren Xeon 10S, and this is the Super Winch Tiger Shark, and I also have a Super Winch Talon up top. Now there's a lot of debate over who makes the best winch. Each of them have their positive and negatives, but one thing that I think everybody can agree on is that the synthetic winch line has surpassed the steel winch line in the market. Synthetic winch line is a lot easier to use. You don't have to deal with the barbs of the steel cable, hence using the gloves I talked about earlier. With the synthetic winch line, the way that it's designed is if the cable was to ever snap, it's going to lay down. Whereas with a steel cable, whenever you run it out, it's actually recommended to put a winch line dampener on that line so that if it were to break, it just falls down. There is a little bit of hazard with using a steel cable because if you don't use a winch line dampener and it breaks, it could potentially hurt someone. So we've seen a big shift in the market to people primarily buying synthetic winch lines, and there's another piece that's weight saving. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Cape Fear Customs. If you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like if you like it, and comment if you have any questions. We appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you again next time.